The Calgary Flames have finally signed Connor Zary to a contract extension, and many are calling it perfect. Flames fans are not only relieved that Zary has finally put pen to paper, but are also ecstatic that he's sticking around. The future is looking very bright in Calgary with another piece locked up. We're going to get into all that more in this video, but first I want to welcome you to Flames Digest. I'm Mark Griffith. If you're new around here and you love the Flames and you love Connor Zary, then make sure you subscribe so you can stay up to date on all the latest news, updates, reports, and rumors revolving around your Calgary Flames. We would love to welcome you to the Flames Digest family. And oh baby, we finally have a Connor Zary contract extension. Pen has finally been put to paper and Flames fans are pumped. Personally, I am absolutely stoked to have Zary around, and the contract is honestly perfect because it's completely fair for both sides, which is kind of what we expected all along. Now, today has just been, kind of a day of anticipation because it kind of started out in this way where the 32 Thoughts podcast came out. In no way was Zary or the Flames the main focus, but Elliotte Friedman on the 32 Thoughts podcast today said that there has been some progress made on the Connor Zary contract. Now, this was reported about 5 hours ago. I think by the time this video goes up, the 32 Thoughts podcast episode came out, 6-7 hours ago, something like that. So, it started out like this. Okay, great. A classic update. Oh, sounds like they've been making progress. But it actually escalated a little bit as Friedman himself tweeted this out. He says, hearing Connor Zary and the Calgary Flames are closing in on a 3-year extension at just under $3.8 million per year. Now, Friedman he doesn't just tweet this out for nothing. Whenever he tweets this out, it's going to be happening, which is fantastic. So just knowing that a signing was coming, a contract extension was coming, was just fantastic news. And we do have the confirmed number now, as Eric Francis was the first to release it. But he said Connor Zary confirmed signed for 3 years at $3.77 million AAV, which is hilarious because I think, we've obviously made a lot of Connor Zary videos throughout the summer on the channel here, and everyone was kind of saying the same thing. 2 or 3 years at between $3.5 and $4 million per year, probably, in the middle of that range, but more so maybe to the higher end. It ends up being at 3.775. So not 3.75, but just above it, and 3 years, exactly what everyone expected. A bridge deal, but not a super short one. Fantastic. Honestly, it's just perfect. It's exactly what so many of us could have predicted, and it's great for both Zary and the Flames. Now, Pat Steinberg, he said that Flames and Zary started to make progress on AAV in the last week or two. I guess that's what they were talking about. Bridge deal was generally the plan the whole way through conversation. So it was always going to be a bridge. It was never about term, which a lot of people thought. It was always about money. So more than $11 million guaranteed for Zary. Team gets 3 years of cost certainty for a player with lots of upside. And this is, again, kind of why this is a perfect signing and why fans are just so stoked. It really, in many ways, is kind of a perfect deal. So the Flames, this comes from an article on The Score. The Flames re-signed RFA forward Connor Zary to a 3-year deal carrying an average of 3.775 mil, reports Sportsnet's Eric Francis. So here's what's important here. So Zary will be an RFA at the conclusion of his new contract and can become a UFA in 2029. So he'll still be an RFA at the end of this contract, won't be a UFA until 2029. Kind of important, gives obviously the Flames a little bit of negotiation power there, and obviously Zary should probably be satisfied as well, but either way, that's important. Now, the 23-year-old recorded 13 goals and 14 assists in 54 games with the Flames last season. He notched 34 points in 63 appearances as a rookie the year prior, finishing 8th in Calder Trophy voting. So we know this guy isn't exactly just a bum or a nobody. He is fantastic. Now, the next few things I'm going to show are all kind of analytics. So if you're super into analytics, I'm not going to speak about them too much, but if you want to pause and totally analyze them, I mean, that's what analytics are for, right? To analyze. Feel free to go ahead, pause, and look deeply into them. Now, the first one kind of shows just how good Zary is in a way. So over his 2 NHL campaigns, Zary has proven to be a strong defensive player, which is obviously great. So first one comes from Jay Fresh, who we looked at some Jay Fresh stuff yesterday, actually, but always coming out with kind of, the advanced stats, analytics and stuff. So he says Connor Zary signed a 3x3.8, which we know is slightly less by Calgary, is a second-line scoring winger who likes to shoot from distance, crash the net, and forecheck, has great hands, and was a lot more active with the puck last season, obviously when he was playing and not injured. But you can take a look. take a pause, zoom in, look at some of those stats. He honestly is a very good player, quite underrated outside of the fan base. I mean, we all know he's the best Connor, not only in the division, but in the NHL, and it's the Connor that everyone wanted to see sign, not some other Connor guy up the highway. We don't care about that guy, but there's your first little set of analytics if you want to look in a little deeper. These ones more so contractually analytics, and again, feel free to pause, zoom in. I know it's kind of small, but it kind of just shows that Zary, once again, he's great in certain ways. You know, high danger, offensive impact can be great defensively too. In some ways, not so great in terms of physicality, puck management. That's what you kind of expect out of a young guy anyway, but very average in a lot of other ways, and such a fair contract. So if you pause and take a look, you know, some comparables, it's a very, very fair contract that he has earned up to this point. Obviously, there's other variables involved with Zary, injury history, and so on. But either way, this one just kind of proves it really is a great contract for both Zary and the Flames once again. Now, the last one here is more so just him as a player again, and it shows, again, very good defensive player. Offensive, pretty average, but can be quite good in certain areas. And again, feel free to pause. This is almost more like a NHL the video game type stats here in analytics, but he honestly is quite a good player, quite average, but young. Again, deserved that contract. So congratulations to Connor if you're watching. We're so happy to have you around for at least another 3 years, and pumped to get it going, hopefully more. But I think for the most part, the Sea of Red is absolutely thrilled. Now, another thing the Sea of Red could be thrilled about is this next-gen little set of games that are coming up with the rookies from the Edmonton Oilers, obviously against the rookies from the Flames. And today, earlier, the rosters were announced. So if we go through the forwards, we got Andrew Basha, Jacob Battaglia, Parker Bell, that's an interesting one, Nathan Brisson, Matvei Gradin, Sammy Hanzik, Carter King, Hunter Lang. I've never heard of this guy, Mail Levine. Interesting. Caden McCann, David Celia, Adar Suniev, and Carter Wilkie. So a lot of, I guess, household names within the Sea of Red. You know, a lot of people want to see what Battaglia and Basha are up to. Obviously, former first rounders in Hanzik, Gradin, even guys like Suniev, who we got to see play a little bit. So stoked to see all of them play. In terms of defense, we have Colton Alain, Edward Bondar. No idea who either of those guys are. I'm so sorry. But next, Hunter Bustevich, Axel Hertig, Simon Mack, Etienne Morin, Zane Perek, Masio Phillips, and Daniil Skvortsov. Wow, sorry, I don't know why I struggled with that one. Skvortsov, never heard of him either. But either way, so many people excited to see, obviously, Bustevich, Perek, even guys like Morin, Phillips should be super exciting. And then the goalies are Owen Say, Arseny Sergeyev, and Jordan Switzer. You kind of expect all of them will get a chance to play, but I think most people excited to see Sergeyev play the most. And a lot of people are thinking, hey, there's certain guys here that are missing. Where are, you know, our first rounders from this past year and some others? Well, NCAA prospects are not included on the roster as they are currently preparing for their upcoming collegiate seasons. As we knew, kind of once this was announced, we already said that some players wouldn't be attending. They have their own training camps and are gearing up. So that's why guys like, you know, Cole Reshny, Colin Potter, even guys like Misa, not involved. They're going to be playing their own hockey sort of thing. But a lot of good Flames in there. Some guys kind of brought in just to fill out the roster. But either way, it should be super exciting to see some of the young guns go ahead before we head into training camp and the preseason. Now let's get into the comment of the day to wrap up this video, as we love to do here on the channel. This one just went perfectly with the theme of today's video. It comes from Just My Opinion. Credit to them. They said this on yesterday's video, but they said, rumor mill has it that the Flames and Zary are closing in on a 3-year deal worth $3.5 million per season. Ended up being slightly more money than that, but either way, stoked once again that Zary is here. Just a perfect signing for the Flames and Zary. I just absolutely love to see it. So happy that this whole ordeal is finally over with and we get to see Zary for at least another 3 years. Fingers crossed he can stay healthy and really prove what he's all about. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe to what you saw here today and have a wonderful rest of your day.